Denise, guess what?
What's Abby?
We got chismes.
Hi everyone, welcome back to a new episode of We Got Chisme. Woo!
Sí.
So for today, Sabi has put together a lot of creepy encounters. So we're gonna
Pues
see a lot of creepy people, I guess.
we're gonna determine what people call creepy nowadays.
Okay,
It's
okay.
pretty much. So some of them might be creepy for some, might not be creepy for others, depending on what you're going through life. I guess that's how you define the level of creepiness.
Depending
But
when you leave.
yeah. Where you left before, how you were raised. But let's see.
Okay. So I have been advised to start with this one. Okay. So let's see. Let's see how it goes. This one comes from the subreddit Creepy Encounters. And let's see how old it is. This one was posted 7 days ago. Wow. Okay. The title is Creepy Experience with Men on a Train. So this happened around 2018-ish. I had been seeing some videos online recently of people acting weird towards women on trains. It made me think of this situation I had when I was younger. This was in the UK. I was 20 years old, but look really young, like 16 or 17. I was on a train at like 11 p.m. or midnight. The carriage was empty or near empty. I had chosen it because I want to be alone. I was mega tired, like I was super exhausted as I had been traveling for hours. Three drunk, or maybe pretending to be drunk, dudes boarded age like 30 to 45 years old. They all sat on the seats opposite of the aisle of me, despite it being empty. I ignored them and was more annoyed about someone deciding to sit so close when they had the whole carriage. Because why do people do that? Ugh. One, one then got up and sat directly next to me. Even when I was not worried, I was mentally like, fuck, a weird, drunk, chatty dude. Here we go. I did not really feel worried. I think because I was so tired and I was too polite to ignore him, and he seemed friendly enough initially, like asking how I was, etc. He then started saying that he was really worried about me, that I was clearly a runaway. He said that he was worried for me because bad things happen to runaways, that he knows girls my age and will never forgive himself if something happened to them, so by extension felt compelled to help me or check on me. He will not want the people who care about me to go through knowing something happened to me. That my parents are probably stressing about me. He started saying that I am probably gonna get sexually assaulted if I am not careful, and that there are people out there who will want to hurt me. He was also asking where I was going, why, who I was meeting, that he was willing to help me, etc. One of the other dudes apologized for his friend, saying that he's just trying to be nice, that he can be a bit too much at times when he's had a drink or two. And me, in my infinite wisdom, throw, yup, just drunk guys being weird. I was I just sat there wishing they would go away, but obviously could not leave because I was blocked in the window seat. I was friendly to them because I did not want to come across as rude, and I thought, well, he's just probably trying to be nice like his friends say. I told him multiple times that I was not a minor. I appreciate his concern, but I'm fine. But he ignored me and continued saying I must be a runaway. I should not lie. He is looking out for my safety, etc. I was very tired, because I had been traveling for hours and it was so late, and I got frustrated and stopped arguing and just kind of went along with what he was saying. He then grabbed my hand while telling me to promise him I will stay safe. He told me to look him in the eyes and promise him, so I did. He did not let go of my hand and kept saying stuff like, "Promise me, I want you to be safe. Don't make me worry about you," etc., while rubbing my hand and holding it on his lap. I did not really know what to do, so just let him, which was probably stupid, but I was not in the mood to confront three dudes alone who were potentially drunk. I do not recall the third guy saying anything really. Maybe he chatted with the other guy while the main guy bothered me, but I do not recall him directly talking to me. A member of staff approached and asked if I knew them and if I was okay. When I say I did not know them, the staff say they seem awfully familiar with me. The men say they were just striking up conversation and checking if I was okay. I say I was fine because I did not want to make a scene. Stupid of me now. The train staff started hovering around at the end of the carriage watching them, so obviously they did not believe me. I saw at least two members of staff were watch the, what sorry. I saw at least two members of staff there watching and talking to each other, arms crossed and everything. By that point, mentally, I was begging the train crew to come and tell these guys to piss off. One of the dudes then said something like, "This is our stop," and they got up and left. The staff came and checked on me when they got off the train. They say if the dudes did not get off at that stop, they were gonna force them off. The staff were very kind to me after throughout the journey and kept asking if I was okay or if I wanted to switch to another carriage where they could keep a closer eye on me. Thank God for those staff members who look out for me. What scares me is that I never felt genuinely in danger at the time. I was obviously totally naive and I just thought they were trying to be nice, but in a weird, annoying way. But thinking back on it now that I'm older, for ooh, and she puts like the emojis that are like showing the thing, like nervous. And it says, for info, I grew up in a mega dysfunctional home, so I was still not really able to create boundaries and advocate for myself back then. My tolerance for inappropriate abusive behavior was really high, so I am not surprised past me got caught up in that. That's so sad. That is sad and very annoying, but I'm guessing that happens a lot in like big cities with trains, right? Thankfully, I don't think I've ever experienced being alone in a train. I always had someone with me when I was traveling after school. Thankfully. What about you, Sabi? Have you experienced this or have you seen this happen?
I mean, well, I'm sure I've been on trains way more than you.
Yeah, definitely.
Since I used to take the train every day to work for like an hour. um, you see a lot of weird shit in the trains, like a lot. Um, but even on late nights, you see people drunk going around bothering people, but not into this extent, like just hovering around to someone in particular. No, not in that scene. But hey, I seen drunk people pissing themselves.
Oh, ew, in the train?
Yeah.
Ew.
I saw a couple going a little too much in the train at each other. Um, well, in New York, most of
That's
it's homeless.
funny.
Most of is like homeless people going around. Some of them were in who knows what, very talking incoherent things.
Yeah.
I remember one time was this gentleman, um, Hispanic, and he was having a full vivid conversation. You you will think like he was on his phone. He
Yeah.
wasn't like in the seat in front of me. The guy was talking to someone about the food that he wants to eat once he gets home. And he wants to know, like, yes, I want it with this ingredient, like, you know how to make it, yada, 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 yada. So, nowadays, like everything, but with the headsets, even the old people
Yeah.
sometimes have the headsets. And I'm like, okay, he have the headset. I didn't play mine to it. But he keep going on it, and then he start fighting with that. whoever he was talking to, but nobody was sitting next to him, of course. And here my thinking, like,
He's fighting with someone on the phone.
yeah. Um, when I got to my stop, the dude turns around and he asked for the time, and I'm like, "Why are you asking for the time? You don't you aren't you talking to somebody on the phone?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't have a phone," and he was sitting by himself.
He was cuckoo.
Yeah. So, oh, it's this time. It's about to be dinner time. Okay, thank you. And he got off. So something that he was carrying on his hand was a little bottle of rum or some sort of alcohol. So
Oh
I
my
guess he
god.
was, I guess he was high on something and drunk at the same time. I don't know. I didn't ask any question. I'm like, okay, you left. But when I'm telling you, like he having like a vivid conversation and then he was like fighting over with somebody, like fighting over. Yeah, that was weird as fuck.
He was
Um,
probably fighting with himself.
that's a big argument to have for yourself. Um, the point of what he was having. So that's one that stayed like very vivid on my head. And of course, you know you have those performance that comes in by in the train trying to make a living, and at the same time trying to rob your wallet.
Yeah, but I've heard a lot of, like, I've heard TikToks about people that are crazy in the trains and things like that, and encounters that happen. So it's very sad, but I'm very glad that this girl was okay,
He was
because
saved at the end
thankfully
of
the
the day.
staff was there, because otherwise it could have been bad.
Well, by the way that he was holding his hand and putting his lap, that was already like, girl, red flag,
Red
time to
flag.
go.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, that was interesting. I thought you might like this because you like to advocate with people like that.
Yeah, no, that was it was scary. Like if I were in her situation, I would have probably been scared too. And I get not saying much when you do not, like, when you're young, you don't know the signs and you let a lot of things go. And then it's normal. It happens. A good thing that you know now and that you were safe back then, and now that you're aware, you maybe can help someone else if you ever see them in that situation. What do you say? We read some comments now.
Of course.
Ooh, let's see what's the top comment. I'm curious because sometimes people share their stories. I'm curious what this is going to be. Top comment says that is very scary. This is my fear of what could possibly happen to me as well if I go on a train alone or any transportation alone, since I'm also female. It can also happen to anybody, and I'm not saying it only happens to women, but I feel like we're also a target for some people. And then she says a bunch of other things like, I'm glad nothing else happened to you. You can never quite know or tell who's evil or not. But it's a very long comment that I'm not going to read. But then OP responds to that and says, thank you. I have traveled on trains long distance a lot back then, and this was the only time anything like this happened to me. Like there is the odd, slightly creepy dude, but I always immediately clock them as weird, and they always eventually back off. Definitely did not feel like these dudes were going to back off at all. The train staff, especially the lady, were great. The lady was glaring at them so hard. I mean, that's why they left, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And fake that it was their stop.
Oh, I like this one. Someone says, lesson here for other young women. The moment people do something weird or out of social norm, like three people clustered around the only person in an empty train car, that's a big red flag. And
Red
it's the
flag.
moment, yep, and it's the moment you should get up and move. They are being aggressive and signaling they will try to interact with you, probably not in a good way. So you need to be aggressive about blocking that by leaving. Also, please never sit alone in the window seat of a train car. As happened here, someone can easily come and block you in. If you're going to sit alone in this type of sitting arrangement, please always sit in the aisle seat so you have an easy escape. Lastly, you are not required to be polite to strangers. If they are being weird or aggressive or geez, touching you, politeness goes out of the window. Please practice being comfortable with being cold, rude, and dismissive so that you are able to switch into that mode when the situation calls for it. Creeps like this count on young women being too polite or too scared to challenge or ignore them or walk away. So don't be so predictable polite because they absolutely use that against you. And then Opie says, this, my story is a step by step guide of what not to do. It is so true. I remember my mom telling me that when anytime I will have to travel by train or bus alone, my mom will say, sit on the aisle seat, never on the window seat, because someone can block you in. Like she had stories of like friends of her that happened to. So she will like always tell me that. She'll be like, just sit on the aisle seat and put something on the window seat. So you will block both seats. Like if you're ever traveling alone. And it's so true. And also do not be polite. Fuck those guys. Tell them to fuck off, but or even better, leave because you never know if they're gonna react aggressively. Yeah, what I have done sometimes when I feel like if I ever feel like someone is following me or someone, or if I don't remember when was the last time I heard that. I think it was in Patterson when I was living at my parents' house. I was walking my dog. It was broad daylight, my God. Daylight, how do you say? It was like 3, 4 p.m. maybe. And I was walking my dog and I came out like a block before my house. And I saw these guys. They were coming on the other side, like going, let's say I was
The
coming
opposite
this way
side.
and they were going the opposite side, but the opposite way too. They were going to the other side. And then they saw me coming with my dog out of the corner and they crossed the street. And one of them was on the sidewalk, like basically behind me, and the other one was on the outside of the cars. Like they split. Like why would you split? So the moment that I saw that, I had my headphone on. So I remember I called the first person I called before. I think it was Jagna. I called her and I was talking to her on the phone. And even though I was talking with her on the phone, I had Moth with me. They were still following me, but they were coming closer. That I started running to my house basically, and there were people in the corner. And the moment that I got to the corner, those two guys just turn around and walk away. If you were going somewhere, you wouldn't have turned around and walk away.
They might were trying to plan to rob you.
My headphone and my phone. That was all I had. I was walking.
Hey, that was a few years back, and things worth more back then.
I guess so.
And
I don't know, but it's like that.
there is a bunch of um, guys are in different type of how you call this addiction. So they pawn
Who
that
knows?
they pawn that for a few dollars, and they
Yeah,
get what they need.
but like these guys, I had never seen them before. Like I see people, neighbors all the time, people that I recognize. These guys like look like the typical guy in our countries that are gonna attack you or rob you or whatever. Like they look like that. Like there was no denying those guys
They
were
look like
bad people.
malandros.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you never know. I always thought, like before this, I always thought that if you were on the phone with someone, they were less likely to do something to you. I guess they don't care. If
Uh,
I have my big as 100-pound dog, still they don't care.
well, they think like they might overrun the dog.
Maybe. Well, they
Oh,
might.
but they don't know how fast he will run, though. So
I have no idea.
and your dog is quite big. He's mellow, but to somebody who doesn't know him, they will not know
Yeah.
that he's mellow.
There's people that scare of him. Like every time I'm hiking alone, well, back in the day when I was hiking alone, every time someone, especially a guy, will ask me if he was friendly, my immediate response will be like, no, he's not friendly. And just pull him back. Because you never know. If they want to do something, then they think the dog is going to be friendly. So I always say, no, he's not friendly, sorry. And I just walk back. It was scary. Like, there are times, there was one time I was hiking with Adam and Muff, and there was a guy that was high. It looked like he was high. He looked like he was in work clothes, like a shirt, pants, and, the regular work shoes. And he was just in the middle of the woods, just staring and just walking around.
He definitely was on mushrooms.
I was crazy. And his gaze was like looking nowhere specific. It was just like
Yeah,
completely gone.
definitely on mushrooms. So they say like people who does mushroom usually likes to go into the middle of the forest just to admire and to feel the nature and connect with them somewhat. Side story: I have a friend, one of my people that I supervised once upon a time in New York. He liked to
Mm-hmm.
do that mushroom things, and I'm like, his pretext was like he wanted to see God in a astral trip of mushrooms, and I'm
Did he
like,
ever did? Did
no,
he
he
ever
never
see
saw.
God?
I don't know if after I left he did, but any time that I got to interact with him, he never did. At least that he have been told me. But he did explain to me that usually people who are on those type of things likes to go into the wood because everything looks like so bright and like becomes so vivid due to the mushroom effects. I guess I
I
don't know.
guess.
That's what I'm saying. Like that guy probably was a mushroom. So yeah, you learn something from everybody, one way or
I
another.
guess so. I don't know. That was creepy as hell.
I don't know. I
People,
work with a
please
woman
don't go into the middle of the woods to do
high on
mushrooms and then
mushrooms.
scare hikers, please.
Oh, well,
But
yes.
yeah, you gotta be very careful about these things. What can
All
you
the
do?
time. Okay,
Yeah, let's move on.
sure.
Next story.
Mirror.
That's a good thing. Ugh. So I was told that apparently this one and the last one that I'm gonna read are the craziest one. So now let's go with something a little bit more mellow, you say, right?
A little lighter.
A little lighter. Okay, we'll see. This one was posted a month ago and was also from the subreddit Creepy Encounters. And the title is Creepy Weirdo Neighbor. Ooh, I like neighbor stories. It says, creepy weirdo neighbor. Okay, so I'm writing this post about a weird thing that happened to my friend. This happened nearly a decade ago. So, this is about my two friends. Let's call them Rebecca and Adeline. Rebecca and I were at Adeline's house for a party of some kind. Adults were there. Adeline's neighbors, that were probably 50, were there. So there is one neighbor in specific. Let's call her Violet. Violet was at the party with me and my friends and seemed like a normal lady. My friends and I had these little stuffed animals that we were washing and brushing and that type of stuff. The party was a sleepover while my mom was so strict that I could not sleep over. My mom came to pick me up and I left. Rebecca and Adeline stayed at the party. I fell asleep that night really happy. When I woke up, I had like 10 missed calls and a whole bunch of messages from Adeline and Rebecca. I called them both immediately and Adeline picked up. They were both in the car together with Adeline's mom in the front seat. I was really confused, so I asked what was happening, and Rebecca started crying. Adeline explained that Violet, the neighbor from the party, had screamed and cussed him out after I left. Then it got worse. Adeline and Rebecca were in the pantry looking for food, and Violet came, shutting the door and cornering them. Violet grabbed Adeline by the head and started rubbing her forehead, saying things like, "It's okay to be lesbians. I had a girlfriend in college and I helped her fall asleep like this." And rubbed both of their foreheads. Wait a minute, how old is Violet?
Violet seems to be very mature compared to this girl being a sleepover for what I read before, but it doesn't disclose her age.
No, it does, I think so. It says Rebecca and I were at Adeline's house for a party of some kind. Adults were there. Adeline's neighbors, that were probably 50, were there. 50.
Probably.
Like 50-year-old. And there is one neighbor in specific, like her Violet. So that means that Violet is around 50. Okay, that is very crazy. Okay, so she said it's okay to be lesbians, and was rubbing the forehead.
You will help you fall asleep like that.
After that, Violet left the pantry and started talking to Adeline's stepmom's friend, saying that Violet saw Adeline and Rebecca kissing in the pantry. A stepmom overheard and asked Adeline if it was true. Adeline said, of course not, and the stepmom walked away. Violet then cornered Adeline again and whispered in her ear, "It's okay to have feelings you To have the feeling that you do not tell your stepmom about. I was gay in college. Adeline was creeped out, so she and Rebecca called her mom. Adeline's mom told them to go upstairs into Adeline's room and lock the door. Adeline and Rebecca went upstairs like her mom said, waited out the rest of the party, fell asleep, then told me what happened. But it gets worse. Weeks later at school, Violet's car stopped outside and watched us during recess, only going away when we went back inside. And a few weeks after that, Adeline and I were playing volleyball in Adeline's neighborhood, and Violet's car stopped and watched us. Like I say, it's been nearly 10 years, and both me and Adeline do not live there anymore. I just needed to say something, and I still have no idea about what Violet was planning or if she was just being a creepy neighbor. That's crazy.
Any thoughts on this, man?
Woman. It's a woman. It's Violet. Woman, that you were gay or lesbian in college does not mean that
In
this.
college, it seems like after college, she's just not lesbian from
No, this is crazy.
the way that she described it. Uh, yeah, this is the mellow one.
Wow. Go to bed. Go to bed.
You will sleep well. You fall asleep like that. But the fact that she entered in the pantry with them too and then closed the door to do that,
That's
and
crazy.
the fact that she was going by the school at the time that the recess, like, how do you know what was time of the recess, first of all?
That means he was watching. She was watching.
So
I don't
you
know.
ladies got, you girls have a stalker living next to you.
Stalker. But I mean, that was 10 years ago. Thank goodness they're good. She's probably stalking other lesbian, in quotes, kids. If she can still move. Oh, well, yeah, she's probably 60. She can move.
Well, maybe she was trying to hunt to see if any of them fall from her or something like that. Who knows?
That will have been even creepier.
I think
Uh,
that's the point of this episode. Creeper encounters.
so, top comment says, besides the creepiness, that's assault. If it happened now, I will call the police. Then showing up and watching you? Creepy weirdo, indeed. And then someone else says, she sounds like a pedophile. Women can be pedophiles too. Too bad the parents didn't call the police. I was like, yeah, that's crazy. I was like, I don't understand how parents did not call the police. But anyway. So someone else says, oh my God, that's creepy as hell. She fucking grabbed your friend's head and started rubbing their forehead, claiming that she did the same thing to her girlfriend in college and then it helped her fall asleep. That's fucking weird. Like, who the fuck does that? There is something wrong with her. And also the fact that she told Adeline's stepmom friend a lie, saying that she saw the two of you kissing is crazy. I feel like she has a weird, creepy obsession with your two friends, or all three of you, because that will explain her telling the lie to your friend's stepmoms, um, to your to your stepmom's friend, doing the weird thing with her forehead, whispering that in your friend's ear, and also stalking you guys and your friends. I feel like it has to be crazy, creepy obsession, because like that's the only thing that feels right to me. And then someone else says to OP, your neighbor was a damn predator. Thanks goodness your friends were able to get away from her. Why could not your friend's mother come pick them up the instant they told her what happened, instead of waiting until the morning to come get them? And then OP says Adeline's mom and dad are divorced. The dad cheating on the mom and hates her.
Wow. Interesting details to provide, but sure.
I guess. Sure.
We take the tea.
Ah! Okay, scary. Let's move on to the next story.
Let's go to number 3 at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see the second mellow one.
Ooh. Okay, this one comes from the subreddit Creepy Encounters as well, and it was posted 10 days ago. The title is Someone Was Pounding at Our Door at 7 p.m. sharp every day. Okay, that sounds like a ghost more than anything, but okay. Hi, I have never been too active on Reddit, but decided to tell this story of a creepy encounter slash occurrence I had during COVID that pops into my mind often when reading these stories. This happened back in 2020 when I had just moved to a new country for my studies and the world was going back and forth with lockdowns. I live in an apartment in a family oriented area with two other girls I met online. Only a couple months of living in this place, we started getting weird visits at our door. One night at 7 p.m., me and my roommates were all in our rooms with our doors open when we heard a pounding at our door. We all convened in the hallway of the house leading to the front door, all very confused. We are used to the buzzer going off for the downstairs door, but having someone at our front door knocking without needing to be buzzed in caught us all off guard, especially since it was a pandemic. We finally plucked up the courage after a couple of seconds to go look at the door, but all we could see through the peephole was an empty hallway. We figured it must be one of the kids living there messing with us. Until a couple of minutes later, we hear it again. This time, my roommate quickly checks the peephole and sees a man with dark hair and glasses staring right back at her. Ah! This startled her, and we all ran into one of our rooms and closed the door to figure out what this could be. Us, being young women with that unknown man appearing and appearing again at our door, made us very wary. But I decided to go check the door again. If it maybe is a neighbor needing help and we are overreacting. As I check the peephole, I see the hallway is empty. God, sorry. I just read the next sentence and I went, what? I decided to open the door to look further down the hallway.
Okay.
Tell me you're crazy without telling me you're crazy. I decided to open the door after a creepy man was standing outside of my peephole, but okay. But as I do, I see a trail of spit on the door, a lot of it. The man has a spat on our door during COVID. That definitely felt malicious. I showed my roommates and we decided to call the landlord, who suggests we wait until he's back in the country next week to figure out if it's someone in the building. But if it happens again, we should call the police. We were spooked, but after the last knock, we did not hear or see anything, so we went to sleep. The next morning, as we were discussing the night before in the living room, we happened to look out the window and see the same man. At first, we were relieved to finally get a good look at him in the daylight. Then we watched him pick up a package that had been left at the door for my roommate and throw it straight into the trash can. We were shocked by the idea that someone in or near this building had such a vendetta against one of us or all of us. We were all very calm people. We did not hold parties at this house and really respected all our neighbors and were friendly with them. That night, we were already moving on a bit. That night we were already moving on a bit from this as nothing happened during the day and we went on with our routines until it hits 7 p.m. and the pounding at our door starts again. Oh my God, this guy had an alarm on his phone or what?
On charge. On the dot. On the dot.
Right? This same pattern happened for the next days to a week where we will show up exactly at 7 p.m. He will show up exactly at 7 p.m. like clockwork, pound on the door, leave, return to pound the door again, and spit on it. After he returned, we of course called the police, and they suggested just waiting for our landlord and making a statement through their online tip line to have it on file. Assholes!
He pretty much is like, okay, let me just have this on record just in case something has happened. But anyway, shit.
No, because if you know he goes there exactly at 7 p.m., the police should be in the house before to see what happens.
Or as a landlord, he should be like somewhere around the building of the apartment at 7 p.m. sharp just to see if he sees something. Or like just
Well,
put
the
camera.
landlord is not in the country.
Well, he shouldn't have camera in every hallway.
They should have ordered a camera and put it on the outside of the door. I
That's
mean,
it.
it's not their responsibility, but I will have done it.
I mean, after the first time, with the
Yeah,
speed on all of that. I wouldn't done that.
that would be my next Amazon purchase. But let's think about this. They were students, so maybe they didn't have the money to do it. So I get it.
Hey, but they did leave three of them together. A little fee of each.
There. Maybe you should have checked for Amazon Prime Day. Anyway, it says okay. The police told us to leave a tip line to have it on file, but since he was not trying to get into the house, they just said to keep the door closed and not answer it. After multiple days of being scared to be at home but also to leave the house, our landlord finally paid us a visit. He listened to our story and beelined it to the apartment on the first floor and go to question all the neighbors. It only took that one visit to learn that the family living below us had an adult son who was receiving psychiatric treatment and usually stayed in that facility full time, but he was visiting his family that week, matching up exactly to the day that it started. And the neighbors told us they will keep an eye on him and apologize. That's basically all we know about the situation to this day. Not sure if he had some bad experiences with the frat guys living here before us, or if we did something to piss him off, or maybe there was no rationality behind it. But thankfully, that all got solved after the conversation and no police involvement was needed. I also want to add that I am in no way trying to frame mental health issues as creepy or spooky. Once we found out what was going on, the situation made a lot more sense and we did not hold it against him. What felt creepy at the time was being young girls living in a new country during COVID and having an unknown man repeatedly show up at our door and spit on it. I mean, yeah,
I
I would be
mean,
freaking out
I mean the speed. It's like
during COVID. That's
exactly
crazy.
that's the thing. Like it's kind of like okay, anybody would feel like it's malicious that way because
Yeah.
imagine it was like if you cough, cover your mouth, don't spit nowhere, and then you find in front of your door a bunch of spit. So you might think like, hey, this person have COVID, trying to contagious us about this.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's you know creepy as hell. And then just to find out that somebody who have having psychiatric treatment, that doesn't make any more comfortable, in my
No.
opinion.
But at least the family was keeping an eye on him now.
Yeah, just to make sure that he doesn't go out before 7 at night, please.
Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, top comment says spitting on a door, especially during COVID, would have freaked me out too. I will also tell the family if they do not get him under control, you will get the police involved, especially since he took your roommate's package and threw it away. I hope she got it back. Yeah, that shocks us a lot. Thanks. I'm sorry, this is OP. She says, yeah, that shocks us a lot. Thankfully, nothing happened after he was told to stop. And she never got the package back, unfortunately. The trash cans where I live are kind of like trash chutes, so you cannot go through them. I wouldn't have gone through them either because that guy touched it and he probably got COVID hands.
A copy.
Because
Well,
you know they do that. And then,
I mean, he already blessed his their door with his saliva, so
maybe he did it to the package too. So I wouldn't want to retrieve that.
well, yeah, disgusting. Anyways,
Yeah. Next
but
one
the thing,
says, that is scary. I'm a man. I am 6'4", 200 pounds. And I will have been wary about this situation. Did I ever think about getting one of those ring doorbells? Oh, this says, did you ever think about getting one of those ring doorbells or some kind of camera to get evidence in case it was needed down the line? Oh, you see, that was our thought. So
mhm.
OP says, since it's been a while, I am not sure if it was at that point, if the, no? Since it's been a while, I am not sure if that was a point of discussion with my roommates. We did have photos of the spit on the door, and we made statements just to make something on record. On record. But also, where I live is quite strict with privacy laws when it comes to having a ring camera set up. It will have been showing the shared hallway neighbors' doors, which is not allowed here. Okay.
Well, that's make a yeah, but if they are like that, why at least they shouldn't have like but I guess each building have its own rule.
I guess so, because I know there's a lot of people in this building that have ring cameras.
But Remember, that probably might be here in the state or another country. It doesn't specify which country this might be happening.
True.
So we have to take that into consideration too. Different countries, different rules, different things for privacy. Some others are more strict than here. Here is like you take care of your own, like wild cats.
Yeah. Anyway, this was very, very creepy, and I still cannot get over the. I opened the door. Do not open the door. With a few hours. Don't go open the door like, after they
Right
knock.
after, in case that somebody needs help. Do you help somebody calling for
No.
help? No, so they don't need help.
No.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That okay. Be careful. Everybody, be careful out there. It's crazy. I I always when we just moving here, Adam will used to complain a lot about having to lock the door and open the door every time he will go throw trash away or like just to get something from his car, and I will be the person that'll be like locking the doors all the time. Okay, so it will be back and forth on that. So I used to open the door right before he gets home so he can just walk in, right? So I used to do that until I heard a TikTok about a woman that she heard like a noise on the hallway, and she went to see the door and it was unlocked, so she locked it, and then she sees through a peephole, and then she sees another woman wandering through the hallways, just trying every single door to see which one was open to get in. And she had to text like the neighbor in front of her, lock your door now. Because there's this woman. And they thought that they were pretty safe because that building was the ones that you have to like scan
Like the
something to get in
car,
the building.
like a car or a chip or something.
Exactly. So you think you're gonna be safe, but you never know. So then that was crazy. And I told Adam, no more doors open. I keep them locked at all times. He has to use his key.
Well, sorry for him. You better use your key. They were created for a reason. So
Right?
exercise the
That's what I
reason
said.
of the creation.
Yeah, yeah. You never know. It is crazy. I remember one time we did a party and his cousin just showed up. And we were like, how do you get in the building? He was like, somebody let me in. Nobody
Yeah.
asked questions. And then she's like, oh, great.
Sometimes what they do, um, because there is building that they have like in the front desk that the Amazon packages like all over like in the mail room.
Yeah.
Some people what they do, they just click any building number and they call until somebody just bust them in. Like annoying the hell out of them until somebody bust them in. And they just go and grab the package and just leave like they live there. No questions asked. That used to happen a lot in Jersey.
Thankfully, none of my
Not in
things
your
have been
area, but
stolen.
in like in the area like where like in Jersey City used to happen a lot.
No,
Um
but apparently it used to happen here because I remember seeing reviews about that when before I moved in, seeing reviews, and I was telling Adam like that's why I pay for the locker, and I was telling Adam like get the package straight away. But they install cameras in the mailroom now,
okay, so that way
mailroom
they can
lobby everywhere,
see.
so nobody's taking anything.
I mean, if
Thankfully,
somebody takes something, you are
they're
caught.
gonna know.
Yeah, exactly. So
But I get it. Yeah, that's creepy. Okay, let's move on. Story number 4 and last one, which Sabi says is very creepy. So let's see if he's just bluffing.
let's see, because I told the other two were mellow, and you found it
No,
very.
I found them very crazy.
Alright. So let's
Ay,
see. Let's dive in to see if she finds this one a little crazy or if she's just finding mellow.
we'll see. So this one was posted 17 days ago. Same subreddit, Creepy Encounters. And the title is A Good Deed Turns into a Creepy Situation. This story happened to me, 35 female, about 4 years ago. But I've been listening to a podcast lately that talks about creepy encounters, and they mentioned this sub. I thought maybe my story fits here. About 4 summers ago, I was driving home from a friend's house by myself. Despite it being after midnight, the night was still really warm, and I had all my windows down, welcoming the fresh air. I live in a decently sized suburb, about 100,000 people, of a big city. And while some areas are busy and modern, other areas feel way more like a rural small town. For example, one block down from a main highway, there is a back road that cuts through big farmlands. It is a good road to take when the highway is backed up for traffic, but driving it at nighttime is always a bit sketchy. The road has two narrow lanes with deep ditches on either side that I have seen many cars end up in. And the road is a bit windy as it parallels the dike in some areas. To top it all off, there are virtually no streetlights on the road, except for one streetlight right near the dike's entrance. So, needless to say, because this road is a bit precarious, I was taking my time driving, enjoying the quiet night. I do not drive with music on if I am really trying to focus, with the warm wind in my hair. Wind. With the warm wind
Wind
in my
in your
hair.
head.
As I am taking a very sharp corner, I hear "Stop! Help!" from outside. I immediately slow down, put my hazards on, and pull off to the shoulder. My heart is racing. That was definitely a woman's voice, and she needed help. I am immediately turned between wanting to help a woman in trouble and my early form instinct shouting at me that this is really dangerous. Just as I am trying to decide what to do, and if I even actually heard someone calling for help, a woman comes stumbling through the shrubs, down from the dike trails that parallel the road. Thankfully, the only street light on this road was working, so I could take in the woman's appearance immediately, even if she did not come from the dike entrance but from the shrubs and trees a few away from it. This woman is maybe in her late 40s to early 50s, wearing a pair of denim shorts, a tank top, and flip flops. She hurriedly walks over to my car, which I'm still in with the windows down, and is thanking me for stopping and saying that I needed to come with her. So while I am obviously concerned, an immediate warning bell goes off when she says this. She wants me to go with her, this random lady who emerged from the pitch black shrubs, to walk back into safe dark shrubs along the dike where no one can see us? Immediately, no. While she's in panic, she seems more concerned about getting me to go with her than telling her what's wrong. Finally, I got it out of her that her and her friend, male, no idea age, rode their bikes to a spot on the dikes to go swimming to cool off, but he hit his head. Now, the dikes are very popular for walking and biking during the day, but I cannot imagine they are a great hangout spot at night, as there are tons of mosquitoes in that water, tons of bears and coyotes. And unless you're lighting an illegal campfire, the only light you have is stars. But also, when I asked her whereabouts, where he was located, she just pointed to the eastern part of the trail. When I pushed to ask how far down the trail or if he was on the bank of the dike, she would deflect and say I needed to come with her. She also will not clarify if he hit his head while swimming or if he fell off his bike. Eventually, she got frustrated with me asking these questions and she tries to grab my wrist to get me to come with her. I recoil and she tries again, and I back away from her while firmly stating that I was not going to the dark with her, but I will call an ambulance because she said she didn't have a phone. It's probably worth mentioning that I suggested calling an ambulance right away, but she said no, that I needed to go with her before launching into her story. She seemed frustrated by this, but I called anyway. I called emergency services, gave the dispatcher my location, and as I'm doing my best to explain the situation to the police dispatcher, she takes my phone from me and starts hurriedly repeating the same vague story to the dispatcher. I am super on edge and a bit surprised that she took my phone out of my hand mid sentence, but also trying to be understanding that there is a real possibility that her friend is seriously hurt. While she's speaking to the police dispatcher, I watch as she walks out of earshot of me, odd, and I realize she's not wet. Didn't she say she was swimming? Her hair was dry, and her clothes were completely dry too. And where was her bike? If he was way down the trail, wouldn't getting on the bike to find help be faster? Thankfully, a truck with company decals was making its way around the corner and I waved it down, just hoping someone could help me with the situation, as my observations of the woman were making me more nervous. The driver, around 30 male, pulls over, and I ask him if he wouldn't mind waiting with me until the ambulance arrives. He looked like he was getting off a construction like night shift, so I felt bad, but he agreed he was gonna stay, stating that he was a little suspicious of this situation. I am not really sure why he felt that way, as I had not told him about anything she had done or said yet. But after telling him the whole story, he agreed that it was weird and thought that she might run off with my phone because of how far away she was talking to the dispatcher. The woman hangs up and walks the phone back to me and once again tries to get us both to go with her. The truck driver tells her it's probably best to wait for the ambulance because if they show up and she's not there, they will not know where to go on the trail. Again, I really do not want to read into how she was acting too much because she could be genuinely worried and scared for her friend. But she seemed more frustrated by us than worried now. And she will not respond to any questions that the truck driver was asking about her friend or what happened. Within minutes, the ambulance arrived and two paramedics get out. The woman starts walking toward the entrance path to the dike without even saying anything to the paramedics or responding their questions about where her friend is. They all disappear into the dark trail. A few minutes later, a police car and two officers pull up, and I told them they went east on the trail and the officers follow. A truck driver and I, I'm sorry, the truck driver and I waited for around 10 minutes to see if the police needed to talk to us and to see if her friend was okay. But when no one emerged from the trail, we figured the police could contact me if they needed to and decided to leave. I thanked the truck driver for stopping to assist me and we part ways. I was still shaking as I got in my car and drove the rest of the way home, replaying the whole thing in my head. Was I overreacting? Or was that actually weird? I never did get a call from the police to follow up about anything, and I never knew what happened to the woman and her friend. I tried searching local news for any info. If her friend really was hurt, I hope he's okay and made a full recovery. But it's been 3 years, and when I think that back to that moment, I still get that sinking feeling in my stomach. Something just did not add up about the situation, like too many ugly details that were not fitting in the picture right. I cannot seem to shake the feeling that something more sinister waited for me in the darkness of that trail. I don't know what to think about this one because if the woman was lying, she wouldn't have let the police in there. But uh so there's a podcast that I listen to
Of
that
course it
they
is.
yeah. So it's called Morbid and it's really good. And it's also about creepy things and ghosts and blah blah blah. So there's a lot. There is also like crime stories, like true crime.
A little bit of
But
everything, but creepy and
yeah,
creepy.
but like the one of the things that they say all the time is fresh air is for dead people. Like do not leave your windows open, do not leave your balcony door open, do not open your windows when you're driving down at night, especially if you're gonna talk with someone. Like you know how many encounters I have read or heard about when people are driving like through the city and they have their windows down and then somebody comes in a stoplight or like something and they try to get in their car through the open windows. And like the moment that a woman was approaching, I will have raised my window until I leave only a tiny little bit to talk to her. Because you do not trust anyone, especially strangers. I don't know. But it was
And
a
especially in
really,
the middle of the wood, like
exactly. But it was a really really good thing that you did not go with her.
who knows what would have happened after.
And even the truck driver, I would have been very scary of that guy because he could be working with that woman. But
Yes, Denise
yeah,
is a little paranoid. Too many podcasts
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
So what's your thoughts on this if you were in that position? Would that consider like a creep encounter?
It is considered a creep encounter. It's just weird to me that the woman did not disappear the moment that she called the police. You know, because if she was actually planning to do something bad, she would have probably run before the police got there. So that's the only thing that makes me. But
But did the paramedic come back for his friend though?
I don't know. The police went back with them. Maybe they disappeared. They took the paramedic. Ooh. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. But who knows? We never want to find out because she didn't wait for them to come back. I mean, who
I
wouldn't?
don't think she has a. Let's see. Uh, no, I don't see any updates on the page. Sadly,
No, this one doesn't have. I remember that this one didn't have updates, if I'm not mistaken.
I know. But yeah, top comment says never get out of your vehicle. Always roll up the windows so they're open about an inch so you can hear the other person. If the woman had bad intentions, you could have been dragged off with no one the wiser, which is true.
Hmm.
And someone else says, yeah, that's weird that she rejected the call from ambulance and tried to get you to go with her. Maybe she was drunk or high. Either way, best you didn't go with her. You're not an EMT. There was literally nothing you were capable of doing other than standing there and staring at the guy. Also sounds like dangerous terrain. What if you slip and hit your head too? Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is what I was talking. Okay. Somebody else says, bad situation. Many times, sketchy people will use a woman to flag down a car on a road with no traffic. And then men will appear out of nowhere to abduct or assault the person they stop. You're right to not go with her, but I will have kept my windows up and not given her a chance to grab the phone. Sounds very sketchy, especially when she walked away with the phone. Lucky for you, another vehicle came along, and I would love to know what happened. Could you have called the police later and told them your experience and asked what the outcome was? Well, I guess she didn't because she never said anything.
She definitely didn't do it.
Yeah, it was crazy. A lot of people saying it's like it might have been a trap to lure you into something. I don't know. It is very creepy, and I've heard horror stories about these things, so I don't think I will ever trust that. You know, one time I was with my cousins, and we were coming back from a party, I think, and there was a woman standing like on the side of the street, like and this was Clifton. She was just standing like on a sidewalk, asking for help because she didn't have her phone. She was cold. She couldn't call an Uber, and she was asking for a ride. That she live in, was it West New York or something like that. And my cousin was going down to, like, I think she was dropping me off and my other cousin off, and she was going down to Union City. So she was like, okay, I'm right there. So she was gonna let this woman in, like, no questions. She's like, girl, I've been there, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, are you crazy? I mean, she did it at the end of the day. She gave this woman a ride and everything. I mean, I was like, if it were me, I would have asked the woman an Uber. I would be like, okay, we can wait here. I would call an Uber for her and be like, okay, get in that Uber and bye, but you're not getting in my car with me. But that is me. You know, I'm not the person that will give a stranger a ride. But some people do and nothing happened, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If you did a good deed,
Annoying.
it is crazy because you never know what's gonna happen.
I mean, you're still doing a good deed. You're still providing the person a help and
True.
having need, and at the same time, you're keeping yourself safe. So, at the end of the day, you're doing both by the way that you are saying, but it also could be the reason, like, maybe she actually did need help, but, it's kind
Mm,
of
most
sketchy.
likely.
Why don't you go, like,
I think she was high. I think she was high or drunk or something like that. She couldn't put two and two together. That's why she
probably
couldn't
both?
answer questions.
Probably both.
Probably both. Who knows? That was crazy. I'm trying to find because I remember I had one story about someone who was talking about the other side of creep encounter, someone who actually needed help.
Okay.
And I do not know what it is. I don't know if I can find it. I
Probably
can get
understand.
back to you and see if. But it was very nice. It was about a guy who actually needed help, and someone stopped to help him, and he was very grateful for it, and he was like posting all of these things, and it was very very nice.
Hmm.
I can find it for next time.
Okay. We can wait until next episode so we can be start with something more positive in a positive note and not so creep out.
Yeah.
and increasing the needs distrust to human society.
Yeah, dude.
I
I don't
think
know. We can try to make a positive episode again. So, to give some
just to give us some hope about
good.
humanity still.
Oh my God. Yes, please. We need that sometimes. We
Well,
really need that. Sometimes it's so hard.
we especially if you watch the news often, yeah, don't do that. Don't do
Yeah.
that, please, because that's it can become quite traumatic. But yeah. But yeah, guys, so
Can.
these were our story for today's episode of Creepy Encounters. Dun, 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 dun.
Woo.
Obviously, this episode have increased the needs tolerance for human capacity of being kind down a notch.
I
And her
am done.
distrust level has increased like 3 levels after this one. But you guys let us know what are your thoughts? What were you doing in the shoes of this lady in the middle of nowhere trying to help out somebody who fell into the water, didn't try, then was completely dry. I'm like, yeah, right. Or maybe to that crazy neighbor stalker lesbian that trying to convert the little youngster into lesbian. Well, maybe one of her pets. Who knows? Or what about the one from the train? Hmm.
I think that was the one that is the most mellow, to be honest.
The train one was the mellow one.
I don't know. It was kind of creepy that the guys were like, all
But
over her and
you
everything.
feel it like that because you see that happening very often
It
nowadays.
might be.
So
It might
that's
be.
why you kind of like disassociate a little bit of the feelings towards the like, other three because
It might
those
be. You're right.
you don't hear so often. So when we hear something often, we start associating like that's kind of normal in society,
Hmm.
even though when it's not at all. So
No,
yeah, you guys let us know what you find the creepiest, the most
you're
mellow and
right.
stuff like that. Because like I said in the beginning, everything will depend from how you were raised, where you lived, and the type of environment that you grew up in, the type of city as well. But the news encounter very super creepy and what the fuck? I can be like, oh girl, please. But also the
That
gender,
happens often, by the way.
yeah, but also the gender factor in influencing these type of things a lot.
Hmm, hmm. And let us know what creepy encounters you have had. We can read it next time.
That indeed. But if you wanna be safe, please email us to our email that is always in the description of our videos. Thank you so much. And like I always say, today is Wednesday, 2 more days for the week. It's the week. Yeah, yeah. So hang in there, hang in tight. We almost there. We almost done. So, hang on to the next episode of We Got Chisme. Peace out.
Bye.